Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and tonight I'm joined by Eric.
Tiffany.
Tonight, we thought it would be a fun idea if we started some classic GH. So, we're going on an adventure with Luke and Laura, and we are going to talk about The Ice Princess, Part 1. So,
That
I'll
I've
roll the
never
credit.
seen.
Yeah, I've never seen it too. So, I mean, I know they survive, obviously, but let's see what happens. I'll roll the credits and we'll start this adventure. So you said you've never seen it, right? Before?
No, so yeah, like the special got me all excited, and I was like, we need to do more GH stuff. And I always wanted to watch this Luke and Laura stuff, and I never have, just because there's 100 things to watch. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So we started out on a boat, and I have to admit, like, it took me a minute to kind of get my bearings because, like, I didn't really know who too many people were. Like, obviously, I know who Luke and Laura is. I know that Teo Pingalis, if that's how you say his name, sorry if I butchered it, plays Victor. So I kind
Right,
of knew who he was. But the only other person that I knew on the rowboat that we saw was Tiffany.
Tiffany.
I didn't
Yeah.
know who anybody else was.
Um, I didn't either. I didn't either. Um, I did catch some names. I wrote them down.
Yeah,
So
and I did do some research. I found out that one of the main girls that we see that is a little has a little contentious relationship with Tiffany is Alexandra Quartermain.
Alexander Carterman. Yeah, I got her name, and I meant to look her up, and I didn't.
Yeah.
So do tell.
So apparently she's a cousin of the Quartermains.
Okay.
And she wasn't on very long. She barely made a year on the show.
Uh,
But as I was looking up the Cassadine, because so here we had Mikos. Oh,
yes.
I just did a thumbs up and it just popped up on my screen. Only it was a thumbs down for some reason. um,
Well,
Mikos, Victor, and Anthony Cassadine. So I wanted to see their relationship. They're brothers. The three of them are brothers.
yes. I
Um,
I thought Mikos was the father because he looks significantly older than
right.
all
Which
of
is
them.
why I think I looked it up because I was like, is he their father? Like, who needs to know?
But I do remember them discussing and that they were brothers. And then how confusing was it with Tony? They're calling Tony, and I'm like, wait, Victor's Tony.
Yeah, I
Neither
did
are
have a
lives
moment like that too,
confusing.
right?
I have, yeah. I'm afraid I'm gonna be like thinking he's Tony all the time because he's
Right.
Tony for like 40 some years on days. So,
So apparently Luke, Laura, and Robert, who in my head I keep wanting to call him Roger for some reason. Robert.
oh no, that's because I called Roger on the Pacific Palisades one. I called Robert Roger. Probably threw you off.
Maybe that's stuck in my head. So it appears that they stowawayed on the boat, the initial boat that brought them to the island, and then
The yacht.
the rich people that were going to stay on the island got into a rowboat or a motorboat that brought them to the actual island. So as you can see on the screen right now, Luke, Laura, and Robert, not Roger, dove into the water to swim to the beach to keep up with them so they don't lose the people that they're following. Um, I have to say, the special effects were very much of its time, but also I would kill to have any kind of special effects now.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. It honestly didn't even feel like General Hospital to me. It felt like an Indiana Jones adventure. Like I was like
Right?
I mean there's no sign of a hospital, and I don't know if it's all clips or if these were episodes that we watched. I don't know, but like it was well edited too. Like it felt like just like I don't know, like a TV movie or something, and I was like
Yeah.
very into it.
So when the rich people get to the island, um, this is when the blonde there was another blonde there next to Tiffany, and I kept thinking it was Barbara Crampton. I'm like, why does she look so familiar? It's not her. I don't know who it is. I couldn't figure out who it was. I didn't even catch her
Yeah, I
name.
don't
Did
know.
you?
I don't know who that is either.
Um,
I don't think I caught her name either. I don't think they said her name.
I know one of the guys, his names is Maximilian, and he's been in things. I've seen him
Mm.
in like on Dallas or like not or Dynasty or something. He's been in primetime stuff.
Which
Um,
one's Max? Oh, Maximilian. Yeah. That was Noelle's husband, I think.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they travel by foot a little bit off the beach, and I'm about to call him Tony. His name is Victor. Victor
Uh-huh.
brings them to the stone, and it opens, and that it was very like sci-fi 80s. Like I don't, I want to say it reminded me of Star Trek, but not really.
It kind of reminded me of like Fantasy Island. Like I don't know if you ever watched that, but it's like they go to the island for certain fantasies and they would do it. Like it just reminded me of that for some reason.
You know, I was just talking to Lynn about this. I've never actually seen an episode of Fantasy Island, Love
Hmm.
Boat, or Fame. Yeah,
Fame I need to rewatch. I haven't watched that, but I did watch that when I was a kid. But Love Boat I've seen probably at least half of the episodes.
really.
Yeah, because I always watch like for guest stars that I like, and everybody from Three's Company's in it at one point. Like everybody from Dynasty's in it at one point. Linda Evans, John Collins, John Forsythe, they're all in it. Pamela Sue Martin.
So it's like Hotel. They got like every primetime soap actor to be in
Hmm.
it.
Yep.
I have
Deidre
to
Hall's
finish
probably
Hotel.
in one. What's that?
I have to continue watching Hotel. I only watched half the first season.
I gotta watch that too. I got the DVDs and then I
Yeah,
watched
so
the
do
first one because I love
I.
I watched the pilot because I love Morgan Fairchild, of course.
um. So yeah, so they take, I guess, an elevator down underground through this boulder rock that is a secret door,
Mm,
and it's like the secret layer that's like decorated really fancy. Um, and they're told that they're going to meet Mikos Cassadine for the first time. He's the reason why
yeah,
that he's invited them all there.
yeah.
Um, Mostly the men, the women are mostly the companions. Mikos wants to meet with the men, which I felt was a little bit icky the way he talked to the women. Like
Oh
he said, "You
well,
can't talk about business in front of the women. Leave that to the men."
I like he said, was it the you don't tell the women till the last minute.
Right.
I'm like, damn, this guy's very chauvinist.
Right.
It was funny
Um,
though.
I thought it was funny how Victor announced Mikos his grand entrance.
There's Mikos. Yeah.
Yeah. He
Hey, you
looks
know, it's
familiar.
weird though.
I didn't want to look it up because I was really trying to pay attention and like understand what was happening.
Right.
But I was like, oh, everybody kind of looked familiar to me.
Mikos is very commanding. Like I felt like when he was on, I was really focusing. Like I'm like, he's very, what is it? Like he really pulls you in. Like I'm like, what does this guy want? Like what, he's very fascinating or something.
Mhm.
I don't
um,
know. Maybe it's the villain I like.
a lot of these Cassadines had very short runs though, and then they didn't come back until the 90s.
Yeah,
Which makes me
yeah.
think because I've heard that like Days was basically this were the same writers back then, so they basically just like ripped off the Ice Princess, but made it like crystals or whatever, or prisms for stuff. And
The
Stefano
prism.
was supposed to be like Mikos. Like like the Damaras and the Cassadines are very like similar because it was the same writers back then.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of
And the
cool
Damaras
though.
were pretty much short term in the 80s also. They would come for like a few months and leave,
Yeah.
which I feel like a lot of villains could benefit now from nowadays. Instead of having to like constantly figure out story because you're keeping them on the canvas like year round for years on contract,
Right.
it could benefit from like cycling them in and out.
I like villains staying though, because I feel like you always need that. Like I don't want new villains all the time. Like I just feel like I don't know. I think it's good writing if you can keep a villain around. Like because
And
and
keep
make
them
it
a villain though
compelling.
and not like redeem them.
Yeah, look at Stefano. Did he ever get redeemed? No.
No,
There was
but how many times did he leave and die?
and there was a couple times where he like had his shit together, maybe like for a few months, and then he's like starts to, kidnaps Marlena the fifth time and all that. Then you're like, oh, all right, he didn't change. Same old Stephanie.
Right. Um, I have to say, it's funny that you decided your name was going to be Tiffany tonight because Tiffany is gorgeous. Like I was very pulled in by her in every scene.
She's not only gorgeous, but she's like just badass. Like right from the get-go. I think this was the year she came on, if I'm not
It is.
mistaken.
She only came on in July, so this must be like really early on in her run on the
All
show.
right, that's why. So we'll get to it probably when they don't really when I call them the trio, Robert, Luke, and Laura. I just put the
Really?
trio is hanging out. The trio separated,
Uh-huh.
but like how they don't really trust Tiffany because they don't know her at that point because she's dating Victor,
Victor. Yeah.
right?
But it
Which
sounded like, well, we'll get to it later.
right,
Because
right.
there's a scene. Um
There's a scene.
I liked, well, that's a scene also. Um what did I like? I like Tiffany's dresses. I don't know. So like I know Tiffany from like 90s stuff, but at that point she was married and she was a little bit more settled down. Um so it's interesting to see her this way, like not single, but like young and like with like kind of like a firecracker personality.
Right.
Um my takeaway from this is she's an actress.
Yeah, she's an actress.
Okay.
She's in I watched all 1982. Well, half 19 when Emma Samms came on, who you don't know. It goes
Don't
into
know her.
and
Like
I'm in
honestly, like I laughed because I was like, I bet you one of these women is Emma Sims.
no, she don't
You're
come
gonna
on
be like, I
till
was like, he's gonna be like, did you see her? And I'll be like, I don't know her.
she comes in July 1982.
Oh, okay.
And I started with her appearance to now I'm at June of 83. So Tiffany's on all that time. So she's
Okay.
and she's still we got to go into this another time because like so she gets paired up with Noah, Rick Springfield.
Oh, okay. I'm like, who's Noah? Okay, I got
Yeah, and she doesn't act very Tiffany like with him, and it got on my nerves. But anyway, we got to get back to this. I'll tell you more off screen.
you. um, so I thought it was funny. The trio, as you like to call them, they kind of take shelter in the woods.
Yeah,
And I don't know what Robert was doing. I don't know if Robert was like surveying the area or if he was the one that was going to stay up because it was nighttime. There were lots of animals and noises happening. So he just wanted, I don't know, but he wasn't there.
he was
And
just circling
Laura
the
were
place looking
alone,
for chicken.
and Laura was getting a little frisky. She wanted it.
Um, yeah, she sure did.
So obviously, I
She,
had to like go online and Google like how old Jeannie Francis was at this time. She was only like 19,
right,
which means they had her and Luke together since she was like 17.
yeah, pretty much.
And he was in his 30s. Like they paired a 17-year-old with like a 30-something-year-old man.
He was in his
We
30s.
won't talk
Wow.
about their beginning, but
One day,
yeah. And
fans know, fans know.
Luke was like, he's like, you want to do it right here on the ground, like with all the bugs.
Yeah, he was
She's
the
like,
one that
yeah,
was like pushing her off. He's
yeah.
like, "Come on,
She's like, yeah, right now.
cornball." Yeah, she was like, "Let's do it now." I'm like, "Robert could come back any second. What is your problem, girl?" Adventure makes her horny. That's her problem.
Yeah. It was good to see her young. Like I've only ever seen her as an adult or
Right.
in a muumuu, as people like to joke. That's how they used to always dress her, even though she was too young and pretty to be dressed in a muumuu.
You dressed her in a muumuu? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like when she came back in the 90s, they like the joke is like they just dressed her very matronly instead of like a sexy
Uh,
woman that she was.
huh.
um, but yeah, Robert was cute. Like
Yeah.
Tristan Rogers, I was like, because I've only ever seen him older and with gray hair. I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
I could see why he was popular.
Yeah. He's handsome in that accent.
Right. And this is pre Anna, because Anna doesn't come on for a few years.
84 or 85, I think, Anna comes on.
Oh, so he had a whole run before she even came on.
Hmm. Yeah, because I think he was on. I think he started 79 or 80, something like that too.
So him and Holly, Emma Sam's, predate Anna,
Yes,
or do they?
they do. Well,
Because
yeah,
doesn't
you're right.
doesn't Anna and him have Robin, but like
Right.
Robin doesn't know that
So,
they're her parents or something.
right. That's like so that kind of predates that, but it
Holly,
didn't, until they wrote it that way. So,
right?
yeah.
So then I mean, I'm just guessing because I don't know if you've seen it. I guess when Anna does come on, it's like
I
they
didn't
have
see
a
it.
past.
I don't know. I didn't get there.
Oh, okay. So I guess we'll find out one
Find out eventually.
day.
One day, one day.
So Mikos has security, I guess, serving the area, making sure that they weren't followed onto the island. Um, and the trio go into hiding when they hear noise, like somebody coming. And little
Yeah.
do they know that they are exactly in front of the rock that they need to be in front of to get into the lair.
Yay.
They're like, "Come on, let's find shelter. We're gonna find out how do we get down to like the lair or whatever." Meanwhile, the rock is
Hmm.
right there.
Hmm.
Just push the button, pull the lever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't know. I mean, you would think like Robert maybe would be like, "Oh, let's feel around." Like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how much they knew about the situation. Like, do they know they're very diabolical and they would create something underground? Like I don't know.
Well, my impression of Robert is he's like a super spy, and he has this machine that I guess they're tracking them on, but the service keeps dipping in and out.
Right.
It seems to work when they're close to it, but when they're not, it gets a little wonky. Um, which is why I think he thought they were close, which they were because the rock was right there.
Right.
But he's like, "Come on, we gotta keep looking."
He was very tech savvy, it
Right.
appears.
There were moments where like he like it would go to the next scene and he was just like super dirty, and I'm like, "What are you rolling in the dirt?"
So I mean, he's like Indiana Jones. He's all over the place.
But on their like walk through the jungle, they come across a hot spring. Well, it's hot for now, anyway.
Yeah, right.
And so they decide that's going to be their camp, and they're going to bathe and get all that mud. See, look at him; he's filthy, dirty.
Dirty boy. Somebody bathe them.
There's a point where Luke and Laura have like change, and I think it's supposed to be clothes that Laura just made from like whatever they had, but it looked like tailored, very clean, very bright, like had um palm trees on it.
Yeah, the little pink dress.
Yeah. And Luke, his shirt looked clean and pressed, and I'm like, oh, you just made that.
Look at them, they're a mess. It does look like they were all rolling in mud.
Right. um, I guess they build a fire, but aren't they afraid that like the smoke signal is going to attract attention?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why, like, I guess they're supposed to be hiding, right? So I don't know.
Right.
I guess.
They're not really supposed to be drawing attention to themselves.
Right. Yeah, you would. I mean, but they have no choice, I guess, but to start a fire, and I guess they're just like, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. It was probably nice with the hot spring also, one because it's warm, and two because it's not salt water, so they could actually like drink it if they needed to.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so they set up camp there, and I guess they take turns. Like Robert was surveying the area.
Yeah.
So when Mikos met with the men to talk about what his plan was, I felt like it was a lot of talking in circles.
I felt that way too. Because I was
It,
like waiting, like, what do you want? Like, what are you doing? Like, get it out.
I'm not really, like, good with science or terminology, and
Mhm.
the things he was saying, I don't know if they were real things, but my takeaway from it is he's at least making them believe that he wants to be able to freeze a town or a city, and they could use this to, like, rid the world of disease.
Right.
Because I don't really know this, but I think one of the things with, like, global warming is that the ice caps are melting, and whatever's underneath, there's, like, diseases that we don't even know about that are being, like, put out into the environment.
Right.
Um, Not to get political, like COVID, maybe,
Right. Right.
like
Right.
diseases we've never even heard of.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's, like, what he's trying to sell it as, is that they could freeze this and, like, rid the world of certain diseases.
And I guess the guy that they had, who was the guy they were talking to? Um, man, I forget his name. The British guy, like, or the one with the accent.
Was it the one that had the mustache?
Yes.
He was funny. I've seen him in things. He's always, like, the comedic
Yes.
relief.
Yes. He's in that's what he plays Dr. Bombay in Bewitched, and he's also Dr. Bombay in Passions.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Who Tabitha calls sometimes. He's in a few episodes, I think, of Passions.
Oh, that's funny.
He was also in the Titanic.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. He pops up
Him
everywhere.
and Eric Braeden.
Yeah, yeah. Eric Braeden.
So
Yeah.
Mikos doesn't want the women to go up because he doesn't know if anybody else is on the island yet. And Tiffany feels like a cage rat. She's had enough.
Mm-hmm. She's done, dude.
Yeah. She's like, I want to get out of here. She's like, I need sun. And the girl with Maximilian, I don't know her name, the redhead. Um, did you say her name was Noelle?
Noelle, yeah.
She's like, oh, but it's so beautiful down here. Look at all the stuff that we have. And Tiffany's like, so what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did
She
like
didn't care. She wanted to be out.
I did like that you could kind of see like the it was almost like catacombs, like you could see in the background. And she drew
Right.
attention to it, and she was just like, really, right there, see?
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, looking
This is
fabulous.
like she was like, I don't want I had enough of these what is it, stalagmites or whatever.
Yeah. I
I
like how
was
Victor
like,
just sat there while she went off.
but I mean, uh, you almost feel like the Cassadines are kind of idiots in a way. Like, do you really think people are gonna want to stay trapped in something? How long was it? 6 weeks?
Yeah, something like that. And
I
she's like,
don't want
six
to be
weeks.
underground. I don't want to be underground for 6 weeks. Like, I would want some fresh air here and there.
This was the
Oh,
first
like,
Big Brother.
yeah, right.
I like how when she stormed out, the door just opened. It's very futuristic.
Yeah. I like that stuff. I mean, it brought me back. Like, I felt like I said, I felt like it was like Indiana Jones or something like fun, like an old show or something. It was neat.
And again, it's like, wow, the days of a budget. Just them
I
being
know.
outside on the water and on a real beach.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I guess
So
they really went. I wonder. I guess they really went like on on location to like Malibu or something to let them swim. Like, right? Like, I don't know.
yeah. So eventually Miko says they can go outside on the real beach, but they're being
Which she is
supervised. Yeah.
right there.
And her and Alexandra have a little back and forth, talking shit about each other's men. And in this conversation, it kind of made it sound like Tiffany had been with Anthony.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she was that's what I took away from it, because she was just like, well, I don't know. I felt like she was basically saying he has a small dick.
It's kind
She's
of
like,
what I did too.
Victor can pleasure me better than Anthony or whatever. And then
Right.
Alexander was like, you could talk about me, but don't talk about my man.
Right. And
So
this
then
is
she
a
started
this
talking shit about Victor, and Tiffany wasn't having that, and she ended up, like, bitch slapping her and then getting slapped back.
Yeah.
But then she
That's
ran
rough every
off, and I
time.
didn't know why. Like, it wasn't like they started fighting and she was losing, and so she ran off, like
I guess she was just upset. Who knows?
So then I almost felt
Um,
like she was playing, like, a hide and seek game because the guard went looking for her in the jungle, and she just kept running, and then she
yeah.
eventually came upon Robert, right? I'm like, Robert Roger.
Yeah, yeah.
Robert.
Robert, you're right. I would correct you. There he is.
And I like
What are
how
you
she's just
doing?
like and she's like, "I'll see you soon," or whatever, and she just kinda, like, winks at him and is like, "I'm coming."
And this is where she was smart. So you think, well, I guess she kind of wasn't smart. She was and she wasn't. But we'll discuss.
Well, I feel like she was smart because she's like, "Oh, there's other people here." She's like, "I don't wanna be down in the dungeon," or whatever.
Right. I feel like she suspected, obviously, like they're trying to keep them down there, and it took a while for them to get up. So I feel
Uh-huh.
like she's kind of suspecting there's something going on, and that's probably why she didn't say anything. But she was going to. Remember with Victor.
Right.
I would call her. She was about to tell him, but
I actually felt a little bit of chemistry between her and Robert.
mm-hmm,
Do you know if they dated at any point? Like, once
mm-hmm,
they do? Oh, okay. Interesting.
mm-hmm. Not long, but
Well, I just actually found out yesterday because I was doing a little digging on Tiffany
right.
that, Lucas Jones and
Mm-hmm.
Sam McCall are brother and sister. I just found this out.
In the
Because
car.
Tiffany's sister is Lucas's biological mother,
Okay.
and who's Sam's father? Jerome.
Um.
Julian.
Oh yeah, Julian Jerome. Yeah.
And Julian is Lucas's biological father. So they're brother and sister.
Ah.
And
I
Bobby
don't know.
and
Did they ever touch on that?
well, I asked Lynn. And he said back
Professional.
when Ron Carlivati was writing, they did kind of have a sibling relationship, but they barely touch on it now.
Okay. Well, Lucas is hardly on, so
Yeah, well,
he's on
yeah.
like once a year.
I heard he's coming back for a couple of episodes, maybe for Bobby's funeral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Boo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um. So Mikos finally decides that he's gonna show everybody what he's trying to do down there, and I saw the fountain earlier, like in what we watched, but it was
Right.
so like to the side. And my initial question was, "Is that a champagne fountain?" And I got my answer later on. It was a champagne fountain because
It was.
they started focusing on the fountain.
Right.
um,
So funny. I didn't know.
so Mikos gives one of his grand speeches about biocarbonates and blah 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 stuff I don't understand.
Right.
He shows them that he has a pill, what looks like a pill, a capsule, we'll
Mhm.
call it, that he's gonna
Capsule.
add to the fountain, and he's like, "And we're gonna wait and see what happens." So he adds it, and he says, "We're gonna have dinner." And he's like, "And we're gonna see the effects." And but almost immediately, I feel like Tiffany is like, "Oh, is anybody else feeling cold?"
Yeah.
And Alexandra's like, "For once, I kind of agree with you." She's like, "Maybe we got too much sun." And he's like, "Oh, I arranged for you guys to have like blankets or throws or whatever, so you're comfortable or whatever."
I guess it's Rose.
Yeah. Well, somebody brings like it looked like blankets out. Can you imagine being wrapped in a blanket trying to eat dinner?
Yeah, right.
The men are
That would be a
fine, they're
little
in
rough.
suits and they have jackets. The women are in dresses and their, like, shoulders and arms are exposed.
Yeah, right.
So Mikos, I think he's Helena's husband, right?
I'm not
Because I think
sure.
the first time we meet Helena is, Elizabeth Taylor.
Yes.
So she doesn't come until the wedding.
But
Um,
but you said they're all brothers, so if that's her husband, so they're just brothers-in-law to her,
I guess so, yeah.
right? Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
She
then
seems like a full-blown Cassadine.
Stavros doesn't come on for like 2 years after this.
I don't think I don't think Helena. I thought Helena was like a full-blown Cassadine though.
Is
Like I
she?
didn't think she was. I didn't think she was by marriage, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I guess I don't know. Or she's just a crazy bitch, so it makes. I don't
Well, she is crazy.
know.
We do know this.
Right, right. We do know this. She's like the Stefano of General Hospital.
Um, hold on, I'm like looking it up really quick. So yeah, Stavros doesn't come on for like 2 more years, and he was not played by Robert Kelly originally. It was somebody else.
And
Um,
Stavros is her son, right?
yes.
Yeah.
So Stavros, Stefan, and Valentine are her sons, and Mikos was her
Okay.
husband.
Okay.
So she is not a blood Cassadine. She's a Cassadine
Not a
by
blood Cassadine.
marriage.
And she's just a crazy monster bitch, just like the Cassadines are. So she
Yeah.
fits right in, I guess.
um.
Yeah.
So they have dinner, and outside, I guess the island starts to feel the effects of this pill.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like changing the atmosphere.
Yeah, right. The
um,
atmosphere. Balloons are gonna come.
because Laura says she feels cold, and Robert gives her his jacket, and I'm like, okay, well now you're like
Yeah.
naked, you're just wearing shorts. Like, what are you gonna wear?
Yeah, I think it's starting to get like cold because he's trying to prove it, like that it works or whatever. So I guess he did something.
Yeah, and then I feel like they also feel like the ground is starting to feel cold.
Yeah.
I think they noticed that like a bucket of water is frozen
Hmm.
or it
Yeah.
evaporated or something. Which makes me think, I don't know if they showed it or if it's something they are going to show, but are the hot springs going to stop running and be frozen? Is it going to be like ice rink?
Yeah. And I'll just ice skate
I mean,
around.
it's still pretty early on. They're just starting to feel the effects of it.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess they decided that they're going to get in shelter and try and keep warm. They don't really know what's going on. I think Robert's contraption starts to go a little wonky.
Yeah. It can only work for so long.
Right.
His toys.
His toys. His spy
That's
toys.
what me and my friend Karen joke like because like I said in 1983 and he has like this computer that's basically like Google before
Hmm.
Google. And we always just like because he always has these contraptions like he can see the police station. He has like a video camera in there like it's like Zoom before Zoom. Like you'll,
Okay.
you'll see when you get there. It's funny.
Well, back downstairs, we'll call it. um, they're arguing. Mikos tells them what his plan is, vaguely.
The men, right? The
Well,
women
the
weren't
women are
there.
there. And
Ah,
they're
the
starting
women
to
are there.
freak out. They think he's crazy, and that
He is.
not something like that is impossible.
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, but it is." And
Yeah.
he basically brings their attention back to the champagne fountain to show that it is no longer running because it's frozen now.
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Oh my god, it's working."
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty much where we left off with that.
Yep.
That was the end of their scenes, and then the last scenes were of the trio, were them like getting into shelter, trying to
Making
stay
shelter.
trying to stay warm. And I liked it. It kind of
Right.
ended. It felt like a little cliffhangery,
Uh-huh.
so it was a
Yeah, it
nice
was
way to kind of
cool.
end the first part.
I don't know who edited it together, but they really did a great job. Like if there was other hospital stuff during that time, I'm not sure. But if there was, I would never know. Like It just seems like a movie of the week or something.
Right.
It
A miniseries.
was cool. Yeah, it does. It seems like it. I'm excited to see where it goes. I mean, I kind of heard things, but I never seen it, so it's kind of neat to see.
Yeah. Like I said, it took me a minute to kinda, like, get into it, but once I feel like once they were down in the layer, I was like, "Okay, I'm on board."
Yeah, and plus, like, we don't know any of these people. Like, where I'm at in 1983, the only ones that are there are Robert, Tiffany, and Luke. So
Okay.
just
Yeah,
a few
because
people.
Laura was missing, I think.
Jeannie left in 82.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. So, okay, the way I see the timeline is they got married in November of '81. She went missing in January of '82.
yeah,
She came back for sweeps, I think, in November of '83
83. Yeah,
with the first Stavros, and then
okay.
she left again.
And she left in the beginning of 84 and then came back later in 84 again.
Okay. So that
So
must have been around the time she got pregnant and had Nicholas
supposedly
in
on
the
the
timeline.
timeline. Yeah. But the timeline's really messed up. So it's because like supposedly like Luke and Holly have a kid who's Ethan,
Mhm.
but it doesn't go with the timeline at all, really, I don't think. So it's hard. Timelines are hard with soap sometimes
Yeah.
because they fuck it up. Poor writing.
Is there anything that I missed that you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so. Oh, I did have Nico said I guess he got mad at the women at one point. He's like, bloody women. I'm like, is Miko's really gay? Maybe that's why Helene is so like hostile. She's like, my husband's gay and an asshole. So she's like, I'm just gonna destroy everybody. Um, oh, somebody, hold on. Somebody threatened Alexandria.
Was it
Oh,
Tony?
Mikos. No, Mikos did.
I feel like he threatened everybody at some point.
Yeah.
I also feel like
Oh, Nigel is is Dr. Bombay. I put
I
Nigel
also feel like,
Constantine.
Tony and Victor are out of the loop on what his real plans are.
Yeah, I don't know what they expect. Like, I guess they're just like, we're family, so whatever crazy ass plan you want to do, we're in, type thing.
Mhm.
Oh, and another thing, I guess we say like all the guys that Mikos wanted there are the men that like want are supposed to be able to help his mission, whatever his mission is.
We didn't say that, but yes, he said that. He said they're all
Yeah.
specialties in their fields, whatever their fields are.
Yeah, whatever they are. So I guess whatever science shit is happening that we'll never know, um, they're there for that. But the women, I guess, are just like I feel like Mikos probably would have just killed them off if it was that easy because he doesn't seem to like any of them. So
Well, if you don't have anything
that's
else to add, I guess we could wrap it up.
yeah, I was excited. I'm excited to see how Liz Taylor comes in because I never really I might have watched the whole wedding, but I honestly don't remember it. It was probably like 20 years ago. And it was probably only like that one episode that they show all the time, like when they do
Mhm,
reshow it.
mhm.
So I'm excited to see like how what happens with Mikos. I'm assuming he dies, I'm not really sure, I guess. And then she probably comes back for revenge of some sort. So I don't know. I'm excited to see all that stuff.
Alright.
Finally.
Um, I've actually never seen the wedding. I've only ever seen, like, clips that they always show for every anniversary or flashback. Like,
Right,
I've
right.
seen the clip of, like, Scotty trying to storm the wedding. I've seen the
Hmm.
clip of, like, Liz Taylor being like, "A curse on you, Luke and Laura."
Hmm.
But
Right.
I've never actually seen the full episode.
Yeah, it'll be fun to get into all that.
Yeah.
Because that happens the following year. So I mean we
No, it
should
happens this
probably
year.
in 80? Does it?
We're in
When
'81.
are we in? Oh, I thought we were in 1980. I'm sorry.
No, we're in 81.
Oh wow.
Which and Tiffany came in July of 81, which makes me think she really probably hasn't been on more than a month if this is like the
She,
summer-ish.
yeah, she probably, yeah. I was gonna say it's probably like the summer storyline.
Yeah, it feels like a summer storyline.
Yeah, feels like a TV movie.
All right, well, thank you
That's
for joining
awesome.
us as we go on this little Luke and Laura adventure with the Ice Princess.
Yeah,
As
it's
always, you
fun.
can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. Until next time, have a great night. Bye.
Bye.